Hi guys, it's Granny Tana speaking. Welcome to this FS25 fact sheet video about the Tractor AGCO White 8010 series. We have seen this tractor already in the fact sheet collection, the third one, and I'm very interested in this AGCO White tractor, and therefore I wanted to have a closer look and explore what kind of tractor it is, what manufacturer built this tractor, and so forth. And that's what we do in this video. So first, this is the fact sheet, and we get the information about how this tractor will be in FS25. So the power range will be from 160 to 225 horsepower. So it's quite a range, and I think it's a very interesting range. When you start with a low horsepower, this is already rather useful, and you can use all the small and medium small equipments on your farm. And then when you get more money, you can upgrade it to the 225 horsepower, and you can go to the next step with your equipment. So you can have 6-meter direct sowing machine, for example. Usually that needs around 200 horsepower. And for this tractor is quite wonderful. So it grows with you. And that's what I really like. And in the beginning, it's really cheap. It's just 58,500. This is an awesome price for a tractor with 160 horsepower. And I think it looks very nice. So let's go on with the facts for the game. The fuel tank is 454 liters, and the tractor weighs 9.8 tons, and it has power shift gear, and the speed is 40 kilometers per hour or 24 miles per hour. So this is what we already learned in the fact sheet video. And the speed is, I would say, a normal speed for a vintage tractor, because usually they only had 40 kilometer per hour, or even 30 kilometers per hour was normal then in the last century. So here we have a bigger image without the writing, and I think this tractor is a real beauty. I guess it won't have a color choice, so it will come in white, as the name says, or it's rather light gray tone. But yeah, from the distance it looks rather white, I would say. And I really like the shape of it. So if you had said to me, oh, look, this white tractor, this is the next design generation after all those sharp face model. So right now the modern tractors have this sharp face in the front, so to say. And yeah, and when someone had told me, oh, the next generation of design will look like that, I would have believed it. I would have thought, oh yeah, it's a nice decision to go in this direction, because they always change the design. I like these sharp faces that looks a little bit like a shark. I like them. They look really modern, but sooner or later, the designers, they want to work. They need to change the look, and then they will change the look. And maybe they go in this direction, but this is an old design. It is from the last century, the last millennia even. It's so somehow it's rather funny that the last century is also the last millennia, and that I grew up in, yeah, it feels like 1,000 years ago when I was young. Okay, so we want to learn more about it, or rather, I want to learn more about it, and maybe you too. And here I have Tractor website that is dedicated to all kind of tractors, and it's really interesting. Here at the left side you can see all the brands, and they have a lot of old brands. And when you don't find a website anymore about a tractor brand, and Wikipedia doesn't say enough of this brand, then you can find it in this Tractor Book DE. It's a German website with an English name, but it's a German website. And yeah, as the numbers are the most important things about tractors, I think that doesn't matter for you. You will still find very interesting informations if you happen to go to this website to learn more about all kinds of tractors. So it's not only about this AGCO White tractor. And I visited this website already quite a few times because it's so informative. So what we learn is, or what I learned first on the Wikipedia page, where we will go later, when the AGCO Enterprise bought White, that was in the beginning of 1990, and it also bought Alice. And so first Alice bought the White Enterprise, and then AGCO bought both. And that happened because the White Enterprise, they went bankrupt in 1985, and therefore they have been bought. And then when AGCO came into this conglomerate, we say conglomerate if it's a really mess, then they made a series of tractors starting in the beginning of the 90s with smaller tractors, starting with the number 6 in the beginning, and they had quite a lot of different tractors, all with the number 6, smaller tractors. And then 1998 they started a bigger series, and this is the 8010 series, which we will get in the game. And we just have a quick look at the smaller models, and they write that those AGCO White tractors have been built together with the AGCO Alice tractors in Italia. And there in Italia they also built the Same tractors, which is now a different enterprise. So Same is not part of AGCO, but they had collaborated or something like that, and together with Deutz is Same now a big enterprise by themselves, or compared to AGCO rather small, but yeah, they are separate. And AGCO owns some enterprises like Fendt and Valtra and Massey Ferguson and I guess Challenger. So they have quite a lot of different brands, a whole bunch of brands. So now we go down further. You see all these numbers? Here we have the 8010 series. Here we can see it. And This is the last series that was built by AGCO and that had the brand name White. And they built it from 1998 and stopped building it in 2001. And later they sold the same tractors under the brand name AGCO, but only until 2010. Yeah, and this, what we get, stopped being built and branded 2001. And I guess quite a lot of you guys are younger than this. And some others are older than this. I know my audience is not so very young, but there are also quite a lot of young people. So it's very nicely mixed up and I like it. Yeah, so what do we see? We see 6 different models, and here down there we have the horsepower. It starts with 125. I think we start with 160 in the game. And then it goes up to 225. So we start with the 8510 and then we go up to the 8810, because we start with this 160 horsepower. Yeah, and then there are quite a lot of different numbers that are very interesting for vehicle enthusiasts, and for me, I know what this is all about, but I'm not so much into vehicles and machines. I'm more into buildings, and therefore, yeah, I see the numbers and think, yes, yes, nice numbers, and that's it already. Yeah, what I find interesting is with the engine, this is the size of the inside of the engine. I don't know the English word for this. And for this small one that we get, it is 8275, which is big compared to a car. This is really big. But then the others, they have a calculation. And yeah, if you calculate this, this is much bigger. Yeah, it should be much bigger, and it is not so much bigger. So I don't know why they calculate it and don't write a number about this. Maybe you know it. But in the end, it's more than 10,000, much more than 10,000, something like 12,000 whatsoever. And so we have quite a difference from the smallest model that we get to all the other models that we will get in the game. Yeah, and here you find all the other informations. So you can really dive deep into this, and I'm sure Google Translate is able to translate it for you. Now let's go on to the Wikipedia site of this enterprise, the White Farm Equipment. And here they write, the conclusion is, White Farm Equipment is a manufacturer of agricultural machinery now discontinued and owned by AGCO. That's the most important thing. And here they write that they started in the 60s, and very early they bought other manufacturers, and then they grow by that. And then it went back and forth, and they had collaborations with even Iseki in Japan and so forth. But then I think the most important thing that happened was that they went bankrupt. Let's see. this is interesting. Here they don't write it. On the German website they wrote that 1985 White went bankrupt, and then they have been bought by Ellis. And then later in the 90s, Ellis was bought by AGCO. And because White was part of Ellis, White was also part of AGCO. And you see, it's really confusing. Yeah, and then, oh, and what might be interesting, we only talked about the tractors here, but the White name continued on under AGCO White with the White planter division until 2021, at which point the planter line was absorbed into the Massey Ferguson brand of AGCO products. Though the branded White planters are no longer produced, their legacy and informations carry on within the planter industry. Yeah. And maybe they looked as nice as the tractors. Maybe we get one planter of White, why not? I mean in the game. And here I have some images. Here this is one of the old and small ones, where the tractors still have been very square-like or edgy. And here another one. It looks really old, I think. Not only that it looks used, but it looks like an old type of tractor. Not too old. So I wouldn't say from the 60s. Never. In the 60s the tractor have been looked much different. More like the farm all without a cabin and so. So when could this been built? Do they say it? Somewhere in Illinois. Yes. So maybe we could find out, but I think it's not so important, at least not for me at this moment. I just wanted to get some impressions of other tractors of this brand, and they look quite different, and they are always a little bit white grayish, as is this that we will get in the game. So now tell me, what do you think about this old-fashioned White tractor that we will get in FS25? And did you ever heard from White tractors before? I never heard of them, so I was really surprised to learn that this brand exists and we get it in the game. Okay, that's it for today. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for watching and all the best. Till next time. Tschüss.